It's been an absolute pleasure.
Hello. Okay. Good morning, everyone. Yeah, it's an absolute pleasure to be here this morning. Thank you so much for inviting me. To the online audience as well, thank you for joining. And he said I should say something before we go. I know he's read my bio, so I won't talk much about myself, but I would say that I started my data career in data in particular in 2008. And there was not a single opportunity that you have today. So please let's give a round of applause to DSN. At the time, nothing like this in Nigeria, to the best of my knowledge. That was back in 2008. My first day in data career was actually 1st of July. I remember very clearly. And no I could count how many of us on my palm that were in this, that were in this. I'm seeing so many here today. There were no formal classrooms, no networking, no opportunity to participate in projects outside of your regular day's job. So I think I want to say a very big thank you to DSN. I want to say that you're lucky, you're blessed, and you should really take this opportunity to the next level, and I wish you the best. And I look forward to talking more about this in the course of this panel discussion. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen.
All right, good morning. Always honored to be here. I've been in the previous bootcamps. DSN is probably one of my favorite organizations because it's on something I'm not really passionate about, but it's a core. It's actually the center of my work. So I need everyone to understand that data is everything. The world today is affected with data. The problems in the world today is solved with data. Opportunities that will happen tomorrow is being created because of data. So data is very powerful, and we should all take it very seriously. I've been doing this for a very long time. I started my data career with a company called Okoye Software. Anybody in the technical field in the programming side would know about OGPC's Open Database Connectivity. Yes, Open Software, some of you might not know, is a company owned by a Nigerian, and they were the first company in the world to commercialize OGPC. So when OGPC was given freely by Microsoft, OpenLink decided to charge customers for it. So there has to be a reason. So that's probably, and that is the beginning of understanding how powerful data can be. So there's a big story there that motivates. But we've seen it all. So opening software has customers like US government, UK government, Canadian government, even institutions like the US Army, basically most of the military organizations in the world. That kind of customer base informs you of or exposes one to wide variety usage of data. And I would say this is everybody that is here needs to take data extremely serious. Is it true? We are all in Nigeria today. Data is probably the only tool that can easily solve most of our problems. So folks are inspired because there are a lot of big names who easily motivate, share their knowledge, share their experience. We should, endeavor to, beyond this bootcamp, try to engage with everybody who participated in it. Like my colleague here said, in our own time, we never had anything like this. I'm actually envious. If my coming up in the data world there was data science, our life would have been easier. But I just want us not to take this thing for granted. Data is one of the sought after jobs in the world today, and there's a global war on talent. If this last statement doesn't make any sense to you, shouldn't be there. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Emeka. So, I think without further ado, I'll just delve into our questions for our panelists. And I think they've spoken to some of those questions, but it would be right to reiterate those facts so that, like you said, the very last part, if there's nothing that you're picking, you need to understand that there's a war, right? Sort of, I mean, there, as regards talent. So, if you're ready to make anything out of what we have in the global space, you need to be very much ready. So, let's appreciate our panelists once again. Thank you very much. So also, I think I'll start with Toyosi. So there's a question here that I'm going to be starting with. It says, what are the most in-demand skills in the data science and AI fields? We've spoken about data being the most important thing that we need to be careful of, need to be very aware of. So what are the most important fields in those two fields, data science and artificial intelligence?
Okay, thank you very much. This is an interesting question. I know you're expecting me to say machine learning, regressions, and all of that. Those skills are very, very important. All your technical skills, very important, extremely important. In fact, that's what makes you a data scientist. But having been in this field for a while, the most important skill that any data scientist needs is the skill to solve problems. The skills to solve problems, your problem-solving skills. So why I'm saying this is I'm sorry to disappoint you. I wasn't going to say your statistical skills. So I've seen a lot of data scientists and data geeks and very good people that are super, super technical and very good, but they cannot apply it to problem solving. The moment these technical skills that you've got in this week, you cannot apply the application, the ability to apply your technical skills to solve problems, whether for humanity, for your businesses, or an organization. Until you're able to do that, then your career is not able to go to the next level it requires. So these technical skills are extremely important because they are unique, they are very rare, and you've gotten them. The next level is how do you translate these skills and ensure that you're solving problems? And I'll give you a typical example. Something happened this week, and it's been very interesting for me. So there was some projections that I was trying to do with some people, or like a forecast. So we did a modeling. There were 3 groups of people doing the same modeling because they're using the different approaches. There was a group of people that they didn't know much about the business and they were doing it from an external point of view, using external data only with minimal data. There was another group of people that were internal and used only internal data and did not understand the business. And there was another group of people that understood both the business and external data. And when the quality of the modeling and the methodology, everything that was used, you could see the difference. The person that understood the business, that understood the data, that understood, those assumptions, you could see the quality of the projection and the modeling and how to be able to inform business decision. So I would say the most important skill today for any data scientist is the ability for you to translate and use your technical skills to solve problems.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for that. So, the most in-demand skills, thank you. So, the most in-demand skills, as it were, as said now, is ability to apply what you've learned over the past few days. And if you would probably also agree with me, over the past few days, one of the things that really stood out for us has been the ability to use all of those skills, the practical use cases to help spur your interest on how to apply those skills. So please take this as the first point out of this panel session, ability to use all of those skills to solve problems. Thank you very much. I will appreciate very much for again. So I think I'll pick the next question that seems a bit similar so that we can have a bit of connectivity. So how can data science and AI be used to solve some of our biggest problems, Mr. Emeka? So she said we need to solve problems with those skills. That's why, or that is the most in demand skills that is necessary. So how can we use, how can we use AI and data science to solve some of those biggest problems that we know?
Thanks. Okay, so let me build on what she said. And I need everyone watching this to I appreciate Toyosi. But that's actually the most important thing we need to take out. Second thing I need people to focus is that if you check her resume, the one word kept hitting there is called digital transformation. Right. And this is what people need to engage with as well. It's not only what we see, it's also what has been written. So that digital transformation is actually the lifeblood for the opportunity that exists in the place you want to work. So hitting that question comes back to how we need to solve a problem. So I talked about data being the tool, probably the best tool in the world. The biggest challenge we have in Africa, and everybody here does some form of AI data science activity, right? But it doesn't hit at scale and it doesn't solve system problems. It's simply because there's zero digital transformation happening at system level. Because we can't solve Africa's problem. No, it doesn't work that way. We can't solve hunger problem. We can't solve nutrition problem. We can't solve health problem. Those are problems solved by governments. If your system is not based on the infrastructure or the tools that they're going to use to solve the problem, then there's not much we can do. That's why a lot of our activities in Africa seems not to be hitting anything. It is not that you are not doing the right thing. So for us to use data to solve our problem, then we need data and data professionals to be in the system, in government. This is why I advocate things like open data. If you follow me on Twitter, I make a lot of noise on open data. It's fundamental. So you see, one of the biggest creators of data in the world is governments, because they know everything that happens in a country. If they make their data available for us, data scientists, researchers, civic society, developers, then they are sharing information on the problem. Then we can start solving. And one of the good solving technique needed using data to solve problems is something they call data modeling. Modeling is not well talked about. And when I mean modeling, I don't mean models. Machine learning people, you know what I mean. Models and modeling are two different things. Modeling means creating an abstraction of the world that you can see and understand. It's very important we understand this, because if you can't conceptualize and abstract the world that you're looking at, trying to solve, then you can't start building a solution. Remember that, if you think about how human beings talk, behave, before we say anything, we think. It's because there's an abstraction in our mind of something that we're about to talk. So it's the same way it is when you are exploring with data. So most of the problems, if not all the problems, data can be solved. So I'll give you an example, something you guys can't relate to it. And the reason why I'm going to bring up this example is so that maybe, I don't know, we can jump into a topic about the kind of knowledge that you need to become successful. Now, one of Nigeria's biggest problems is tomatoes. Yes, tomatoes. If you follow me on Twitter, I always mention this problem. So Nigeria is among the top 10 tomato producers in the world. Yes. 50% of our tomatoes get rotten before they get to the market. So we are talking of tomatoes worth around 3 billion naira or something like that. You know. So I'm not sure about the figure, but something crazy. Now we are supposed to harvest enough tomatoes to feed us and export, but we still import tomatoes. Right. So this is the data problem, obviously. Why is it a data problem? Because it's all about observation. If you understand what is data, what is data? Yeah. It's observation in usable form. Data is observation, what you see, what you hear, what you touch, what you think, what you feel. That's data. Think. Okay, so we know tomatoes are coming out of the farms. We know the tomatoes have logistic issues reaching the market. So we already know. Those are information, data. These are data that were now put into those models. And then we can start applying problem-solving techniques. So it's a data problem, it's not an agric problem. It's a data problem. And one of the things you can think of is, you notice that these tomatoes come out from the hinterland, and it takes close to 2 days for it to come out. We already know, distance, duration, and all that. Those are variables. Okay, that has effect on the outcome. Okay, so if we know that it takes 2 days for it to come out, doesn't it mean that we might need to build something somewhere to hold them in storage or use it for another process? It's data. Unfortunately, this problem has been going on for about 10 years. But we don't have people in government who can do that. Now, if they have solved that problem in government, they will tell everybody, and everyone will learn. So you see, that system of sharing information on your projects like we do with open source, that's how data kind of changes things in the country. That's why the countries take data seriously, are the most developed. They don't hide those information because there's a cycle of citizens that need, researchers, academia, and all that. So that knowledge is shared, and we build on knowledge that we've gotten before. Okay, so data can solve all our problems, but we need the people who make decisions to be knowledgeable in data and having counterparts.
I was very robust. So a quick recap, I like to do recap. So a quick recap for me would be that number one, there's need for us to someone strike a collaboration beat. Create a system that allows collaboration amongst all the stakeholders. So you've identified one critical one now, which is government. Yes. So and also I think one of the things that really resonated with me is adoption of open tools, open source tools, which will help. And I think it's actually the way this current ecosystem of data will eventually get to go. You want everyone to learn, you want everyone to share. We need to start looking into that as a whole continent of a system. Please let's appreciate Mr. Emeka. Thank you very much for that response. So I think I'll delve a bit to what somehow relates to all of us here. So we've talked and spoken about a bit of what we have in general. So for Toyosi, so I want to ask a question. This seems to be more applicable to some of our participants who are students. We have professionals, we have students. People are just learning beginners. So the job market for data science and AI is competitive. Now, what strategies do you recommend for individuals to stand out during their job applications and interviews? Should I take that again for you? Okay. So the job market for data science and AI is competitive, yeah, because the skill is almost out there. Everybody wants to learn now. So, what strategies do you recommend for individuals to stand out during their job interviews? So, what would you have them do with all that same skills? So, do they have what are the things to put together that would probably keep them to be a bit ahead of their peers? Thank you.
Thank you very much, and I think that's a very important question. The first thing I would say is, reflect on your achievement. And that's the first thing, because in saying that, we all have similar skills, but what have you achieved with your skills? And that takes me to the point that, are you really passionate about this career? Because you will do work for free, I tell you. No, money will not come immediately. You will do work for free for you to build those achievements and the portfolio required to sell yourself. So you need to ask yourself if you're passionate, and don't be in a hurry to make money. You will focus on getting those achievements. And when I talk about achievements, I'm talking about your project, your impact, what you've done. Volunteer. I used to tell a lot of young people to say, well, even up till now, I have places I'm volunteering, taking lots of my time, and I'm not getting a penny for it. But you'll be surprised at the day that thing will work for you. You will be surprised, even when you least expect it. And the reason I was doing it was not for any kind of recognition. So my first point to you, ask yourself if this is something you're passionate about. Because if you're not passionate about it, you're likely to be discouraged at the beginning, because you'll either be earning peanuts or be doing work for free. But those things are very important, because what you achieve that period in your life, in your career, it's what will stand you out when you go to the interview. So that's the first thing. So be part of the like data scientist network, have join hackathons, have working groups you work with, do projects, make sure that you have a very robust portfolio and you are clear on the problem you have solved. And when you've done that, when you go to an interview, make sure that, of course, I believe you must have done your CV professionally. Always ensure that whatever question is being asked, you are answering with the impact and the value that you added. Don't start telling them that I have machine learning, I can do this regression analysis and this one, I can create this model. That is not what the person wants to hear. The person wants to hear that, how will you contribute to my organization and take my organization forward? Even if you don't, so remember that person is not, I don't guess when I interview data scientists or data analysts or anybody, the technical skills are very important, please don't get me wrong. But if you're not able to tell me how you will apply those skills, I'm not impressed. And it's very, very important. And that comes also from the level of professional maturity. That means you understand that for every organization you want to be part of, it's really about the impact, the profitability, the value. So anything you do must be able to touch on those points. So I would say that in very simple terms, first is to acquire the relevant achievements, which you will do by volunteering, being part of organizations, and documenting them. When you, like after this week, I expect that all the things you've learned for yourself, you document those things and you are clear on them. Package your CV very well, have your colleagues do the mock interview with them, and go there clearly to state the problem that you solved, what was the issue, the problem you solved, and how you can apply it to that organization. With that, you will stand, at least, you will stand different and you'll be unique compared with people that have similar skills with you.
Let's give it up for 20 Let's celebrate. So in the work of a lead mentor, who I like to put at every point in time to provide an economy, it is one word. It is good to know everything about something and something about everything, right? I'll take that again. It is good to know everything about something, which is your technical skill, your very field. And it is also good for you to know something about everything. You are a project manager, right? You are a data scientist. Can you probably pick on some additional skills which will help you Some of those additional skills will come from volunteering, like she said, internship, like she said. So please, for our job seekers, our young graduates who are looking to get into the professional world, please take heed of all what she said. She said appreciate us once again. And so for our professionals who we have here and online, I think I will take this as a final question. For data science, and that will be for Mr. Emeka. So data science and AI are rapidly evolving fields. So how can professionals stay updated with the latest trends and technologies to remain competitive in their careers? We've addressed the job seekers, the new joiners, I mean, people that are just coming into the field sector. So for people that are practicing, how do you think they can stay relevant? What do they need to do to stay ahead in their field? Thank you, sir.
All right. Okay. So let me start on something I just said. I just want to say that I'm a member of the WhatsApp group of free paid, unpaid you can't beat the things you get out of unpaid in teach. Unpaid. Yes, I know things are tough. I'm going to say it here. Unpaid. That's where I am. You can join that WhatsApp. Yes, unpaid. Trust me. You can't beat it. You know, the tribe. So she talked about passion. Where else can you show that passion? When they are not paid. Yeah. Yes, I'm the one. Yes, I'm the enemy. Yes, that's the WhatsApp. I'm the admin there. Actually. No, I need to emphasize on this because I've been doing. I've been in this industry. I've been in the software industry when when Nigeria started coming up. So there are a lot of things that we're not. We're not organized then, but we had to go through, the hard knock and learned everything and decided to share. People who know I'm always a community person. Yeah, I might not want you to go through what we did, but the truth of the matter is that it's one of my greatest, motivator. It's because we've done it before. So that drive is there. So once you have that passion, you take it through. And then when you do things for it, you understand, you take a lot of things. The fact that you take a lot of things and you're still driving through. You see, when you get paid, it boosts you, it will propel you so far. You understand? You will actually always remember those days, you almost, got your when you got your motivation down, but you can't moving on. I needed to put this thing out there because people think that you freely, get these benefits. Yeah, you could, if you call Emeka will always come and give it to you free. Yes, but it's not enough. Okay, for you to keep up to date with this profession, first of all, you need to know what's going on. And the only way you can know what's going on is following those ahead of you, attending talks, conferences, okay, listening, and then pulling each person who talks or who seems to be in the network of those who talk, and engaging them, and making notes of what they are telling you. This profession is changing. Just within 1 year, language models have become the 18. I mean, we all knew when GPT came out in 2020, maybe because of the COVID and all that. But then we had an idea, but we didn't know how much kind of disruption. And when it did come, you also immediately stop, the challenges, the weakness, and some of it I'm going to talk in my presentation, about it. So a lot of people don't know, like for instance now, you keep hearing the word data science and AI, right? How many times have people mentioned the word knowledge engineer? Yes, you understand? You need to understand that because for the first time, what we keep, has anyone been to my bootcamp lecture before? Anyone here? Okay. So I've done a lot of lectures. There's one particular one, what is AI? I'm going to share some of the slides in that lecture here. I brought in 4 slides. So in it, I think we had that either during COVID or before COVID. So we talked about what AI is all about. AI. People need to understand that machine learning is not AI. Machine learning will lead you to AI. Just like knowledge representation will lead you to AI. Okay? So if you consider yourself a problem solver, you will see the limitation of knowledge representation and also machine learning. And then you know when to pass on the problems to someone else. It's all part of the problem solving thing. So if you didn't know how AI is, then how can you solve problems with AI? Because today we talk of language models. All of a sudden, we're talking about knowledge graph. Knowledge graph has been there since. And today I'll mention why we have those problems. So the point is, you have to be open and learn, absorb everything, understand. Programming is not enough because you know how to program machine learning algorithms or models. Doesn't make you understand AI. They are 2 different things. The builder of a house is not the same as the architect of the house. The builder knows how to put the blocks and the cement, but doesn't know how to design. So you have to learn, go to meetups, have a good portfolio. Now, that portfolio thing, let me tell you where a lot of us get it wrong. We need to start early to know which area. That's why I brought up the tomato idea. Which area, domain that you want to specialize in. So you want to do agric, you want to do tomato itself and payment. If you solve that tomato problem, you are rich. You understand? So niche issues, niche problems are opportunity. So we have to decide which area and then bring portfolio to it. It doesn't matter if your job, you have been doing tomato problem solving and you are bidding for MasterCard. They will now see that you have your domain strength in tomatoes and you've solved the problem. And the question they will ask you to move into finance. Are you going to be able to replicate this? You see, what you did with tomatoes, they could understand clearly. And you don't know if they have a tomato need. Remember, they are a financial company. You don't know their problems. No, this is the thing. So finish on one domain. It shows you your focus. And they don't mind. My best mechanic, I used to drive a BMW. My best mechanic was the first mechanic that told me he doesn't know how to solve this problem. And that was all I needed. Because every mechanic I've met always knows how to hit everything. So being honest. So when you go for an interview and you are honest and you see what you have done, they will tell you, okay, you can come and we will try. But it's good to give yourself a narrative that you understand this domain and that you might be able to move into another domain. Then you need to write blog posts or papers on the things that you have done. Codes are not enough. Codes tell me that you know how to do it. Your code doesn't tell me that you stay wrong in my organization. If you can't explain what you did and tell me how we can improve it and how to apply it, she mentioned about the application. It's not, it is that narrative that you have that tells me how you think, reason. Okay, so code is not enough. Code now we have ChatGPT, who is a programmer, a data engineer, an AI engineer, ML. So what is there again? So I need to understand how you think. So when you write, I take it more seriously. You must attend conferences. Okay, your internship. If you tell me that you did unpaid internship, my ears will spark. Oh yeah, no, and you did it in a place where people usually ask for money. So like you do it with MasterCard, it was, my ear was really, too. So what again? Yeah, meetups, attend industry events, the industry that you are building your domain, attend, because that also tells me that you are focused on domain information, domain knowledge, that is really key. I mean, you can't be doing a lot of things on agriculture, and then you're going for military seminars, and I mean, you understand? It won't align, because you might be planning for Boko Haram. But the point is, just show that you are able to handle the domain, and that you can also show that you can equally jump to another new one, and all that.
Yeah. So let's Mr. Emeka once again. So I think as we are rounding up on this panel session, it is worthy to note that for professionals, you need to be able to define your field. I mean, be clear enough to define where you want to be. And one thing that came out strong for me is the ability to understand problems. So you need to do your needs analysis or needs assessments very, very critically, and make use of what you've learned in terms of principle. I also defer to Dr. Bayo's statement. So he believes that principles for anyone is actually the major thing you need to learn. So if you are able to understand principles, right, application in different fields will not be a problem. So far you understand the principles. So please do well to also understand the principles. And on the final note, like I said, for you to stay abreast of what is happening in your field, do well to also attend events, conferences, read up on latest trends, maybe you can subscribe to newsletters and stuff like that, so that it will help you to understand emerging trends, and with that, you can understand and probably request for additional skills as well. So because of our time, I don't know if I'll be able to take questions from all of participants. So what we can do is you can collate the questions, can get it across to our panelists because of their time. They are very busy persons. It's out of their busy schedules that they've made time to come. So please, can we celebrate our panelists one? So I think we just have a closing remark from them in 30 seconds each. 30 seconds, just a closing remark, then we can then close. Let's start with yours.
Yeah, thank you very much, and well done. It was a good job. A big thank you again to DSN and to the management for having me today. In closing, I will just say that you've been equipped with the right tools, with the right resources, and you're on the right track. Just make sure you keep doing the right thing, keep learning, remain humble, and just keep going. Just stay positive. And he was saying something about listening. When you go for interviews, don't say what you don't know, don't lie, just be yourself and just keep moving ahead. One thing I would say is humility is very important in growth, extremely important. I remember there was a particular day my manager forwarded something to me and said, "Hey, you know about this? What can we do about it?" I didn't know about it. And they thought I was a data guru. I found it to people in my team as well. Hey guys, let's talk about it. Two people knew about it and we had a chat. So you don't always have to have the answer. You will not always have the answer. Reach out to people, learn, be humble, and I wish you the very best. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so this is the thing. When the world is being driven by data, so you guys are part of the global army of professionals that would take part in that paradigm. And I want everybody to know that as much as we hope that our country or continent could do better, the global market is there for you. Whenever we are ready for you guys, so just understand you are competing with, globally, so you have to get on top of your game. It's not that hard. I work in Europe, so we're shocked that, we come well equipped. Yeah, from Nigeria, I represent, there's no task that is difficult. You might not know it, but never give up. There's always an answer somewhere, and there's always somewhere somebody can point you to. Just be in a situation where you can ask and reach out to people. Networks. I was helped in my own growing up, and I'm still being helped till today. I was helped yesterday. I still talk with the companies I worked with. Opening software. I left Opening Software in 2007. I still talk with them as at yesterday, so good relationship, it matters, my mentor is my former boss, till today, my former boss, who apparently I've never met, but I work for him. Yes, it's one of, when you talk of semantic technology in the world, if you, after Tim Bernardi, it's him. His name is Kingsley Den. He's a Nigerian. He's the one that started with this business, and some of you might not know. Database today will not be where it is without a particular Nigerian called Shelley Williams. The reason databases will post their images is a Nigerian. He's still alive. That's the famous accountant son. Yeah. So the point is, what I'm trying to tell you is that we, in our genes as Nigerians, we have what it takes, and I want everybody to feel motivated and don't think that the world is too much for him or her to think. And I wish everybody the best of luck, success. Always reach out, always contact everybody, professionals. I'm sure they're always, once they have free time, they are willing to, give you guys time and, ask the right questions so that, they are empowered and motivated to do what we hope to achieve. Thank you.
Please, let's celebrate the panel. Let's celebrate the panel. Thank you very much.